What are some of the common habits you've seen across successful students and all their projects?
Let's call them successful and unsuccessful students. It's easier to talk about it that way. I think there's different ways to kind of skin that interpretation. But successful students and the habits that they have: participation. Ask a question when you don't know the answer. Ask a question when you're confused. Briefs are challenging. Understanding an entire brief is challenging. You might read a brief 3 times before you really actually make sense of what's being asked of you. So I think, engagement is certainly one of those things. There's certainly with the courses I teach, there was in the past, but there's not now, a requirement to actually physically attend. This is not dependent on COVID. This is, outside of COVID. There's no grade for attendance, right? So everything is accessible and students can work at their own pace, obviously with submission deadlines. But if you're not actively at the uni in front of the tutors and can get the responses instantaneously, it prolongs your education and your thinking process, and 9 times out of 10 that creates the unsuccessful student, because you've got poor time management skills, or you're really just not reading some of the basic rules. Producer drawing at 1 to 100 scale on an A3 piece of paper, and it rocks up at 1 to 200 on an A4.
I've seen that a few times.
Right, it might sound simple, but it's really about just being diligent. Success comes at different year levels, right? You might have someone that has worked so hard through high school, right? They may have a learning difficulty in their background, or they may just not engage with the learning process that well. Push so hard through their entire university career to kind of just get credits, which is the middle grade. And that's still good quality work, right? But their success isn't until they actually enter the industry and they have an ability to apply all of those things and create real projects. There's successful students and unsuccessful students, but it's those that are unsuccessful are probably the ones that don't really fit the industry, or the industry doesn't fit them. They need to be aligned to design, but maybe in communications or illustration or arts or something else off to the side, not necessarily an architect.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of criteria to have to be an architect. It's not just be artistic or something like this, but
no.
You mentioned that this is a bit off topic, so I just want to quickly chuck it out there. You mentioned that participation or being at the campus, and I guess with lectures online and you can watch a lot of stuff online nowadays, do you think there's still a benefit to actually being in person at your lectures?
Yeah, 100%. That's both about the student experience and my personal experience. I think the staff themselves, the educators, we do our best work in front of the students, with the students. There's something really innate about a student trying to draw something and maybe not articulating it or communicating it that well, and you just pick up the pen next to you and you draw it on that same piece of paper, right? That's a very hard thing to do over Zoom or whatever your medium or your platform is. It's not to say you can't do it, but it takes those students that are already engaged and committed and diligent to be then as successful, I think, in this current setup. So I can't wait until we go back to uni, to be honest.
Same.
Yeah, can't wait.